What's up, people? So this is a pretty new room. It's only 355 people in the room. The room was created 4 days ago. I had actually ended up coming across this room because it was another room I was trying to do. Let me show you guys really quickly. I did stolen mail. I did sneaky pack. I'm pretty new to ethical hacking. I recently got into it um back in probably February. I really got into ethical hacking probably about February, really. Um was it February? Maybe January that I got into it. And then I took a couple of days off, but now I'm back into it. So I did these two rooms. I tried to do this room, but this room was incredibly hard. So I went over to this room. This room was actually really, really easy. I enjoyed this room. And I recommend any like new people or anybody new to like ethical hacking to check out this room. It's actually a really good room. Um, okay. I just reset my progress because I wanted to start fresh. So the room is called Infinity Shells. It says investigate and analyze the traces of an attack from an implanted web shell, right? We're Spectre. Spectre is who we are. And I don't know if you've done any of these other rooms, but you are going against Cypher. Cypher is attacking you. Cypher and his goons are out to get you, and your goal is to de-escalate and resolve all the issues that Cypher's throwing at you. That's what the last challenges has been for the last couple of days or the last couple of weeks since I've been doing TryHackMe actively. Um, the description reads: Cypher's legions of bots has exploited a known vulnerability in a web application, right? Leaving behind dangerous web shell implants. Investigate the breach and trace the attacker footsteps. So the attacker got into the system. The attacker has found a way to give persistence. So they're currently actively in the system. What can we do to get them out? So let's boot the machine up. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the box is currently up and going. We're in the environment. This box has no internet access. It's actually self-contained. When I first got into the box, I tried to check and see if we had network access because over here, when you come into this little area, it gives you an IP address. In a lot of rooms I've been doing, you've been like attacking the IP addresses, so you have to do stuff like nmap scan, or you use tools like nmap to scan the network, and then or scan the network or scan the specific host on the network. And then if I needed to like enumerate, say it was like a web server or a web application, and I needed to scan it, I could use something like Dirbuster or GoBuster to scan to see all those hidden directories that's not plainly out there. And that has led to a few of the rooms being hacked. But today we're not using any of those tools. Actually, you don't need many tools to finish this room. As you can see, we have no internet access. I opened up the Firefox browser just to show we have no internet access. When you open up the terminal, and if you try to ping out, just ping the local network or the local internet 8.8.8, which is a Google DNS. It doesn't resolve out to anything because you have no network access. So let's continue on with the room. Again, let's take a look at what we're going on. It says that the issue of this room that we're going to tackle is a known vulnerability on a web application. So a web application was attacked. So I know that the root for any web application is going to be var /www /HTML. HTML. I forgot to push CD. Okay, so we are traversing to that directory, so I got to actually push the correct commands to get there. So now we're in the correct directory. I did a PDW. PDW is print working directory, so we can verify we're in the correct directory. We're currently in the root. So let's take a look at what's in the root. So when I do a ls-scan, I see there's two things currently in this directory. There is CMS site master, and then there's index.html. I'm not interested in either, or I'm not interested in index. That's just like the homepage, but I'm interested in what this CMS site master is. I'm going to actually traverse over to that. Sorry if I'm a little bit stuttery. That's CMS is kind of confusing to say. Let's take a look at what's in here. So license admin CS, that's like how it looks. Image index register. Okay, the only thing really here grabbing my attention is the image. Only reason I say the image is because from experience, when I'm trying to exploit on the or trying to exploit on a website and I need to upload PHP, usually to get around or usually to get around to do that PHP to do custom queries or to start accessing stuff within that website directories that I shouldn't access, I'll upload it through an image. Or from the rooms that I've done, I've used images to bypass that. Um, I'm explaining that terribly. I'm pretty new to this, but so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna take a look at the images. I'm gonna CD into images. Let's take a look at what images has. So right off the rip, I see, well, it stands out because all this stuff is a completely different color. And then you have this singular one that says images.php. So first thing sticks out to me. I know that the website was previously compromised. I know they used a known vulnerability. This is a known vulnerability that I have practiced before. You have other rooms that practice the exact same thing. So let's take a look at that. We're going to concatenate into it. Concatenate images. And what do you see? This is like, this is known. So this type of PHP base 64 code or input query is like code execution on the web server or web application. Once you get this implemented, the attacker can do whatever they want because they have access, they have remote code executable. So they basically have full control of your system with this. So we just verified that, yeah, the attacker had made his way into the website. Cypher had gotten to our system. So as a Spectre, we need to figure out what he did. We need to find a flag. So our next step should be to look at the log files. So I know in order to get to the log files, it's /. So we're going to cd /var /larg vog or var log, and I think it's Apache, yep, Apache 2 ls. And then, so the first thing I saw when I came in here was you had access logs, error log 1, other vhost access log, other vhost access log 1. The first time I took a look at this, I actually concatenated every single one of these log files and just looked through them all. And none of them actually had anything in there that drew my attention except for one of them. I'm sorry, I'm going to open another command line over here or another terminal here to make this a bit easier for you guys. So I concatenate it into the one over here, which is a .1, which shows me this is an older log file and most likely captured everything the attacker did when they were in the system. So I concatenate it into the other .1, and then when I was in here, let me scroll to the very top. Actually, hold on. Clear it. Rerun it. So you see in this access log that the attacker was doing GET requests. It was getting 200. So they were actually connecting to some of these websites. The attacker is using a Macintosh. They're using a Mac device. You can see they're connected to 10, 10, 80, 94, port 80, 80. So they're on the system, or they're connected to a web browser connected. They have access, right? We see this. Port or 404, error 200, 301, 500. So they were being blocked from some websites they were accessing, but they still had access to the system. And then while scrolling through this, I saw, and then as soon as you see it, it may catch your eye as well. I wish there was a way to beautify this so it could stick out a lot better. I was scrolling. I was trying to find something that just sticks out, you know, because this is supposed to be an easy room. And usually easy rooms are actually legitimately easier. Okay, so this is right here. This is what caught my eye when I first came through. Do you see this base 64 here? So the base 64 can actually be decoded back into plain text English with multiple tools. And since this box has no tools and expect you to do everything all from within this box, you can actually just use the echo, grab that base 64, paste it, pipe tech D to decode. And what we're doing here is we're taking this base 64 code, sending it through ourselves and sending it back to us decode it. And what you get when you run, oops, I made a mistake. Okay, so what I forgot when I just ran that command was to include base64. I'm glad I looked over and checked. So what the attacker did when they connected, well, with this query, because this is the images PHP query that we're using, they said, "Who am I?" And if you follow this chain down, this here, copy, and what I just did was push up, delete it, paste, enter. You see they said ls, list directories. They wanted to see what was going on. And I just went through all of these until I got to this one. And this one was a little bit longer than the others. So I was thinking like, okay, something good has to be here. And spoiler alerts, guys, this is actually the key. This is actually the answer. When I push enter, this is going to give me the answer to the room. But yeah, this room was actually pretty easy. It was actually pretty fun. It was straight direct to get to the answer, but it was base 64. I should have started with some of these so you can see what else was going on. But I started almost directly when I saw the base 64, and unfortunately, it just so happened to have been the third one. So the answer to the room is TryHackMe super easy web shell. And like that, the room's done. So whoever stuck around and watched it, thanks guys. I hope you got what you needed.